All right, hey folks, we should be live. Let me check in on my signal here real quick to make sure that's true. We're going to do some artwork this morning for our Eberron adventure that we'll be publishing on DMsGuild. This should be it. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that sounds pretty clear. This should be it. Mic check. Let's drop that out of view here. Now let's grab a link here so we can get things up and running. And we'll switch things over. If you're here in the future and you already know the score, of course, be welcome to skip ahead. But for anyone else that's new and trapped here in space-time with me, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we are creating an Eberron adventure for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition that we'll be publishing on the DMs Guild once it is completed. Give me a moment here. I will finish my social media posts, and we will get to work this morning. So my holidays are over. I'm back to my normal daytime routine. So we'll be doing work here for an hour-ish. And then I'll be offline until this evening around 5 o'clock Seattle time, 8 o'clock East Coast, and we'll be on for a couple hours, maybe working on bastions, or I'm not sure exactly what we're going to work on. We'll work on something. So then just finish this up here real quick. There we go. If you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. You can catch the look-sees at different illustrations that we do, works in progress, etc. Here on the YouTube, thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. And here's a full 383 episodes of the playlist. Here's a slew of books that I've already created on DMsGuild. They all have free previews for you to take a look at, the kind of stuff that I do if you're interested to check it out. You don't have to buy my books to read them to see if they're worth your time. I provide that for free. You decide if you want to spend money to encourage me to create more in the future. So let's just dive into this. I adjusted the angle of this broken limb. I thought it might be easier for me to get the foreshortening right if I have it off angle a bit. That then splays towards the viewer, like that a little. It feels more natural like that. So that's how we're going to do this. Yeah, like that. There we are. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to leave that be for now. This isn't actually what I want to focus on right now specifically. There's that. There's that. Merge. Merge down. Cool. Back to sitting pretty. That'll end up cleaning up. We'll get that all figured out. Let's see. This is where we're actually at right now. Squatters. Yeah, we're gonna merge that down. There we go. Back to work. We are cleaning up these branches right now. This doesn't need to be. This isn't a critical component of the piece considering the overall composition. This isn't going to stand out a lot, but I do want to make sure that I at least have the edges clean up so it's not sloppy. Sometimes I get a little sloppy with my work, and I'd like to tighten up my form a little bit here. There. That. There. These branches are receding away from the camera, so they can become more faint as we move further away from the trunk of the tree. Because if they're moving away from the camera, they're going to become less distinct the further from the trunk it is, because the trunk is closer than this branch. Erase along that edge, straighten that out. Get rid of those jagged teeth. This is going to be behind the trunk, so it doesn't really matter so much. I'm just straightening it out. There we go. There we go. No regret. Looks good. Let's fix this now. Okay, yeah, so typical routine, Monday through Friday, I put in an hour or so each morning like this to just to keep pushing artwork forward. On Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 3 of those 4 days, I will stream during lunchtime in the week for game design work. One of the books that we're working on, like the Bastion's book or the Spelljammer subclasses, or the Mecha Kaiju book, or it's a variety of different things like the Martial Powers book, the Color Mana system rebuild, the Spell Point Sorcerers, Spell Point Warlocks. There's a lot of different projects that we're working on right now, and it's just a matter of which one demands my attention the most today is the one that we work on. So during off-screen time, away from the camera, I work on whatever my quote-unquote primary project is. And right now, this Eberron adventure is my primary project. So I work on it Monday through Friday in the morning, as well as off screen every day. I'm doing layouts right now off screen, and once those layouts are complete, I will be basically doubling down on art assets in the evening. Like I work on something here in the morning and then I disappear. Currently, when I come back, I continue working on that piece. But in the future, once the layouts are completed, that downtime will be spent on continuing the artwork that we work on. So when I come back the next day, I'll have more progress or potentially finish and switch gears to another piece. And then we'll really be able to start collapsing some time frames to get this piece, to get this adventure out the door. I would say that the layouts for this adventure is the most difficult layout work I've ever done, because I'm not real familiar with working in the 16:9 format across 3 columns that are each 10 inches tall, 5.5 inches wide. So there's a lot of interesting limitations that I'm learning to contend with and getting information across in a much smaller frame of space. Which is exciting. Indestructible Terran Pounds put out a predictions video for 2025 on like how potential U.S. tariffs could impact the United States RPG scene. And he made some really interesting points. It's definitely worth your time checking out Indestructible here on YouTube if you aren't familiar with him already. Saying that the cost of creating the 5x8 new zine sort of indie comic formatting is far less expensive than 8.5x11 book formats, and is far more accepted and anticipated as the format of information in the OSR scene, and just a lot of smaller independent RPGs. If you can get yourself to a place where you're familiar with and comfortable working in that 5x8 zine space, then you're going to have much more options available for you coming up for printing, because if there are tariffs imposed on importing books that have been printed out of country, that have been brought in here for distribution for like your Kickstarter projects or whatever, that's going to become potentially very expensive. So we'll see how things shake out. But if that comes to pass, then yeah, you're going to want to have a different means. You're going to want to reconsider what kind of books you can create. So lucky me, I'm already again playing in this 5.5 by 10 inch format, which is going to allow me to switch over pretty easily to the 5.5 by 8 inch space once I start moving into doing my own Kickstarters next year. And next year, I mean like 2026 is the intention. Like maybe around May or June 2026, perhaps I'll have my first Kickstarter launch. I have no idea if anything like that is going to end up landing, like how well it'll do. So I'll have to make sure I can self-fund it. So if it utterly fails, I'll still be able to have a success underneath my belt by registering a success. Anyway, we'll get there. It'll end up happening. It'll end up happening. So stay tuned. We are in growth. Yeah. This cleanup process doesn't look like the most important thing to be doing. But it helps, it just helps make sure everything looks intentional. It's a sloppiness, you know, you want to make it clean. I've invested a lot of energy into this piece specifically. I don't know how I don't know if this was the right course of action or not. If this is overclocking the level of quality that I can sustain throughout the piece or not. But this is the level that I enjoy working at. We'll see. We'll see how things turn out. Got a lot of doubt in my system right now. I can feel it's the returning to the day job after a blessed week off of work. I have 2 weeks that I take off work pretty much consistently every year. It's in May for my birthday and end of December into January for the new year. So those are 2 weeks out of the year that I basically get to pretend that I'm a full-time designer and wake up with the intention of today we are doing art or whatever it is that we do without having to worry about my day job. That comes to a close in about 30 minutes. Thank you, timely timer. 40 minutes to go. Being mindful that this is bleeding into the words, so anything beyond this point is starting to become unnecessary, but for a larger composition that could be exported as a stock art, for instance. I want to make sure it's a complete composition unto itself. Beyond the problem I have is that so much of my art gets sculpted into the shape of the text that it leaves these little gaps sometimes in the images, like where the text is intruding. I often just stop the composition here, like the square is gonna get cut out of right here. I have to have that square cut out, but that's a weird shape to have out of a piece if this was to be its own composition, right? So those are some of the things that we're contending with. I'm just going to take a hard smudge tool and extend these lines out. Like that. There we go. Cool. So we should be finishing these branches today. We have plenty of time left, so we should have no issue with completing them. So then we can shift our attention to the squatters and the trees, fleshing out those characters. And once we have their form resolved, then we'll be able to clean up the foliage to make sure they're outlining and framing them, like highlighting them well. And then the piece will be done. We'll move on to something else. And then the great thing about this adventure is that a lot of the like images, the visual assets, the art pieces are actual maps and creature tokens that we've already produced. So they help fill in a lot of the gaps in the pages for art that like we need to have an image here. Well, we already have a ton of assets that we've created over the past 300 some odd episodes that are going to be part of the download packet, like for so like you can actually run the adventure with the maps that we included. That eats up anywhere from a fourth to 2/3 of any given page. So we have a lot of pages. That makes it really easy. Oh wow, we've done like everything except for over here. So let's get over here resolved. Again, a lot of this is just going to disappear into the foliage and then from there be wiped because of the text. But I want to have it all here for structure and inference for the things that are on screen so that it makes sense if you mentally extend the image beyond the borders of what we show you, you would find what it is that we have built. This stuff lies beyond the fringe, so... that. Let's make that work. How are we doing? So far, so good. That looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Drop this one back in. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I feel like I want to take this here and I want to pull that in like that a bit. Yeah, that feels good. Cool. All right, let's get that out of the way. So let's keep cleaning up. Again, our goal is to have these branches finished today, and we are almost done. So just got to stay focused and keep pushing through. I might end up working on that stump this evening, just to take a mental break from doing page layouts. If I'm lucky, it seems that I can get 1, maybe 2 pages of layouts done per day, and like by like quote unquote per day, that basically means like if I have a 2-hour block off screen that day, I can probably get a page done. So in reality, I can probably actually get a page done every 2 hours, I guess, is probably a reasonable clip, which is with 104 pages. That's 208 hours of page layout that I'm working on, which explains why like it's taking so long to get them done. Because each page presents its own problem, and I have to find the solution, and then once I find the solution, actually make it work. Yeah, it's a challenge. I think in the future, like if this 16:9 format ends up working well, and for an adventure, if any adventure on the DMsGuild is going to do well, it's something for Eberron, because Eberron is tragically short of material for use in 5e. It's pretty much you got to homebrew it, or it's going to have to be in one of the books that Keith has published, and there's not a lot of adventure content in the books that Keith has published, because most of those are like setting guides to build adventures in. It doesn't have enough support and expansion beyond its core rules to have a lot of adventuring happening. They're reliant on third-party people like myself, so hopefully people enjoy this. It was super fun to build and to test and to see how other DMs make use of it. So it's I'm excited. Let's do that, and like that. There we go. Push that out. Like that. And again, the text gets in the way, so I want to be mindful of the composition, but also be aware of where this piece is actually going to be visible. I'm gonna pluck that entire composition there. Just pull that branch free, drop it down into here, create that gap, clean up the rest of this place around it, and then we'll drop it back in like we did on the other side of the tree and complete that branch separately. So let's go like this. Hi, Booger. Excuse me, got a cough. Yeah, like that. That feels good. It's a little off. There. Now that's starting to look real good. Trim that up. I reckon we're going to spend an hour on each of the squatters. Maybe we'll finish faster than that, but I've definitely planned to budget at least an hour on each of them. So we'll start working on one of them tomorrow, and if we can get it finished, great. Maybe we'll just finish the piece over the weekend. Thank you, Tally Timer. 20 minutes left this morning for me to work on these branches. We should be fine. And then we'll be back at 5 o'clock this evening. Nope, that's the wrong line. Let's leave that be. Good. Let's fix that. Get some coffee going. There we go. it's not actually important, it's not going to get fulfilled. Something's burning through me. There's something that is attempting to release inside. I can feel it. I do not know what it is. I don't know what it wants. I don't know what triggered it. I just caught sight of it when I was looking up here, and I was realizing that there's something inside of me that's attempting to create a distraction up here away from completing the actual composition further below. Like, what is that? It's a subtle form of creative procrastination is what it feels like, which is why I'm talking about it right now. It definitely feels like a distraction. So I'm going to try to pull myself away from that and drop back down to here, where we're actually making progress and completing the work. Pop. Good. Waha. Getting cross-eyed there for a second. Up, scope that out. There, like that. Hey, what's up? I don't have much time left this morning. I've got about 5 minutes left today. Back to our normal routine of day shift job. So I'll be bouncing out here in a few minutes. I'll be back tonight at 5 o'clock Seattle time. It's just about 8 o'clock here now. Back to the day job. Bah. I feel like this branch here is out of place. So I'm just gonna get rid of that guy. All this up into the text here is just going to get erased anyway. We were talking about that earlier. Technically, none of this matters. No worries. Yeah, right on, man. I most certainly will. I like my work. I work. I do basically analysis for marketing campaigns and an advertising agency. It's a math-heavy task, so go heavy. Go figure. So I am legitimately looking forward to getting back to work, doing my job. It's the job that I have that allows me to do the artwork that I do. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for the day job that I have. So I appreciate it while I need it. Yeah, right on. Fair enough. I feel like I'm in a very quiet race between can I build a market for myself and have a safe parachute out of my day job into role-playing game design. Can I build enough market for myself here fast enough so that when AI eventually takes my job away, will I have a soft landing into what I enjoy doing already? So, God's willing, I won't have to test that theory for another 5 or 6 years. But if life does as life typically does with me, it's by the time my day job shuts down, it's probably because it's time for the art stream to really jump. And I welcome whatever painful process that ends up being. It's just part of cracking out of the shell. So whatever reality needs to throw at me for me to become the person I'm destined to be, I am ready for the challenge. Mono. I'm gonna merge that down. Merge that down as well. This looks good. I'm really happy with it. What's up? So considering my options for the same eventual bride on, yeah. Like if there's nothing that's compelling or inspiring you to move, it's because keep doing what you're doing and be patient is the actual message. Like if you aren't inspired to do something, it's because there's nothing for you to do. If you feel like you're supposed to do something and you're procrastinating it, it's because you know there's something that you're supposed to do. You feel the anticipation of doing it, but it's not actually time for you to do it yet because you haven't actually acted. That sense of procrastination is, I know this is something I'm going to have to do, but it hasn't happened yet. So you're feeling the anticipation of that shift. That's the excitement that you feel. And then that it's not quite time to do it yet. That's where that drag of that dread of procrastination that you feel in the pit of your stomach, like it's stage fright. You're like, I know I'm going to be going on in just a minute, but it's not quite time for me yet. So you just get the jitters. That's all procrastination really is productivity jitters. All right, I thought I was going to be able to get this last branch done in the time that we have available. So we'll definitely be able to get this resolved tomorrow, and then we'll start in on our squatters. So, trash. Make that our trash folder. Here's our foliage. Branch there. Our broken branch. Our squatters. We'll have forward foliage eventually, filling that in. Yeah, this is a decent little composition. I'm really happy with it. It's turning out really nicely. Yeah, right on, man. It's we're going to do a slew more of these. It's every page is potentially another painting. A lot of the pages are going to be filled with maps and creature tokens that we've already designed, but these little corner pieces and the stray little opportunities. That's where we get to feed the artwork into. So, yeah, stick around. We're gonna keep doing this. I'll be back. I will be back in 8 hours. I'll be back on working on a different book, whatever design book we're gonna work on, Bastions or Spelljammer or Martial Powers or whatever else it is. I don't know yet. The muse hasn't told me what we're gonna do yet, but we'll do something tonight. So when we do, I'll be back. Domo, thanks for hanging out. Everyone else that's here, check it out in the future. Like, subscribe, blah blah blah. I'll see you guys later. Bye.